Hi, welcome to this Corbettmaths video. In this video, we're going to look at the video solutions to the money estimation practice questions. If you need any extra help on dealing with estimation involving money, go to corbettmaths.com/contents and scroll down to video number 400R. Alternatively, you could scan this QR code. But in this video, we're going to focus on the video solutions to the practice questions, so let's get started. Okay, let's have a look at question number 1. So question number 1 says a pencil costs 39p. We've been asked to estimate the cost of 6 pencils. Now, because this is an estimation question, we don't need to work out the exact cost of 6 pencils, we just need to estimate it. So rather than doing 39p multiplied by 6, which would give us the exact cost of 6 pencils, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 40p multiplied by 6. I'm going to round the cost of the pencil up to 40p, just because it's easier to multiply by 40 rather than 39. Now, I've used this symbol here. This means approximately equal to. So it's not saying that 39 multiplied by 6 is equal to 40 multiplied by 6, it's saying it's roughly equal to 40 multiplied by 6. Now 40 multiplied by 6 is equal to, well, 4 times 6 is equal to 24, and then put on the 0 would be 240 pence, which is equal to £2.40, and that's my estimate. Now obviously the real cost is going to be a bit less than that because we rounded up the price of the pencil from 39p to 40p, which means we can work out an estimate of the cost really quickly and easily, and that'd be quite handy if you're in a shop and you just need to get a quick estimate of the cost of 6 pencils. Okay, let's have a look at question number 2. So question number 2 says, estimate the cost of 20 sandwiches that cost £2.95 each. So in this question, to find the actual cost, we would do 20 multiplied by £2.95. That would give us the actual price of 20 sandwiches costing £2.95. But in this question, we've been asked to estimate it. So doing 20 multiplied by £2.95 is, take a little bit of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to round the numbers. So I'm still going to use 20 because 20 sandwiches, that's quite a nice number. But instead of using £2.95, I'm going to round that up to £3. And I'm going to do 20 multiplied by 3. And 20 multiplied by 3 is equal to 60. So that means that our estimate for the cost of 20 sandwiches costing £2.95 each would be £60. And that's our estimate. Now obviously the real price would be a little bit less than that because the sandwiches cost £2.95 rather than £3, but that's our quick estimate for the price of 20 sandwiches. Okay, let's have a look at our next question, question number 3. Okay, let's have a look at our next question, question number 3. So question number 3 says, Keelan buys 62 onions at 29p each. Estimate the total cost. So rather than working out the exact cost of the 62 onions by doing 62 multiplied by 29, what I'm going to do is I'm going to round these numbers. And I'm going to round the number of onions down. So rather than using 62, I'm going to round that down to 60 because that's just a bit easier. And rather than using 29p, I'm going to round that up to 30p. So I'm going to do 60 multiplied by 30. And if I do 60 multiplied by 30, that's going to give us our estimate for the total cost. And what's quite nice is because we've rounded one of them down and we've rounded one of them up, it means our estimate's going to be a little bit closer to the actual value rather than if we rounded them both down or both up. So let's work out what this would be. So 6 times 3 is equal to 18. So that means that 60 multiplied by 30, well, would add on 2 more zeros, would be equal to 1,800 pence. And 1,800 pence, if we divide it by 100, would be equal to £18. So our estimate for the total cost of 62 onions costing 29p each would be £18. And we done that by doing, rather than doing 62 multiplied by 29, we done 60 multiplied by 30. And that's our estimate. Okay, let's have a look at our next question, question number 4. Okay, let's have a look at our next question, question number 4. So question number 4 says a coffee shop charges £3.90 for a slice of cake and £2.95 for a croissant. And on Monday, 62 slices of cake were sold. Estimate the total cost for the slice of cake sold. So we want to find the total cost for the slices of cake sold. So on Monday, there was 62 slices, so 62, and we would multiply that by £3.90. So if we wanted to work out the actual cost for those 62 slices, we would do 62 multiplied by £3.90. But rather than doing 62 multiplied by £3.90, we've been asked to work out an estimate, so let's round those numbers. So that's roughly equal to, approximately equal to. Now if we write, instead of using 62, I'm going to use 60, and instead of £3.90, I'm going to use £4. So if I do 60 multiplied by 4, it'll give us an estimate for the total cost of those slices of cake. So 6 times 4 is equal to 24, so 60 times 4 would be equal to 240. So our answer is £240. So that's our estimate for the total cost of the slices of cake sold. So the question then carries on and says, the manager of the coffee shop says on Monday, nearly £89 was spent on croissants. Estimate the number of croissants sold on Monday. So if we go up and see the price of a croissant, the price of a croissant is £2.95. So that's £2.95. That's the cost of one croissant. And the manager says on Monday nearly £89 was spent on croissants. Now, we don't actually know how much exact money was spent on croissants. So if it was £89 exactly, we would do £89 divided by £2.95. But we're told nearly £89. So we don't actually know the exact amount of money that was made from selling the croissants. So, and we've been asked to work out an estimate. So let's round these numbers. So let's round them. So instead of 89, I'm going to use 90. And instead of £2.95, I'm going to divide by 3. And if we do 90 divided by 3, well, 90 divided by 3 would be equal to 30. So that means that roughly 30 croissants were sold. So our estimate for the number of croissants sold on Monday would be 30. And that's our answer, 30. Okay, let's have a look at our next question. So question number 5 says, Ken buys 21 tickets for an ice hockey match, and the total cost of the tickets is £404 and 25 pence. And part A says, estimate the cost of one ticket, show your method. So we've been asked to work out an estimate here, and to find the cost of one ticket, what we would do is we would take the total price, which is £404 and 25p, and if we divide that by the number of tickets purchased, which is 21, that would give us the cost of one ticket. But because we've been asked to estimate it, let's round these numbers. So let's round it, so it's approximately equal to, and instead of using £404 and 25p, it'd be nicer to use £400. And instead of dividing by 21, it'd be nicer to divide by 20. And if we do 400 divided by 20, that's our estimate for the cost of one ticket. So let's see how many 20s go into 400. So let's do our brush shells method. So 400 divided by 20. So how many 20s go into 4? 0, remainder 4. How many 20s go into 40? That's 2. And how many 20s go into 0? That's 0. So that would be £20. So our estimate for the cost of the price of one ticket would be £20. And we've shown our method. And part B says, calculate the cost of one ticket. So because it's a calculator question, we can calculate the cost of one ticket by taking our £404 and 25p and dividing it by 21, and that'll tell us the price of one ticket. So £404 and 25p, and we're going to divide that by 21. And when we do that, we get that's equal to £19 and 25p. So that means the cost of one ticket is £19 and 25p. And if we scroll up and actually compare that to our estimate was £20, so £20, and the actual price is £19 and 25p. That's not too far away. So that's the cost of one ticket, £19 and 25p. Okay, let's have a look at our next question. Question number 6. So question number 6 says, estimate the total cost of 41 microwaves costing £108 and 99p and 28 kettles costing £50 and 49p each. Show clearly how you obtained your answer. So if we want to work out the total cost, what I would do is I would take the cost of one microwave, which is £108 and 99p, and I'd multiply that by 41, and that would be the cost of the microwaves. And then what I would do is work out the cost of the kettles, and the cost of each kettle is £50 and 49p, and we'd multiply that by 28 to find the total cost of the kettles, and then we would add those together, the total cost of the microwaves and the total cost of the kettles. Now, because this is an estimation question, what we're going to do is answer a non-calculated question. We're going to round these numbers. Now, let's round our numbers. So the cost of a microwave is £108 and 99p. Now, actually looking at these, I could round down the cost of one microwave down to £100 and round the 41 down to 40, but then I think that would be quite a big underestimation because I'm rounding down the price of each microwave and I'm actually rounding down the number of microwaves. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm actually going to round this price up to 110. So I'm going to use 110 here for the price of one microwave because £109 or £108 and 99p is quite close to £110 and it's closer to that than it is to 100. And I'm going to round this number down, so rather than using 41, we're going to multiply by 40. So I'm going to round those numbers to those numbers, and then I'm going to round these numbers. So instead of using £50 and 49p, I think it's fair to use £50, and rather than multiply by 28, I'm going to multiply by 30. So I've just rounded our numbers, and I've just rounded our £108.99p to £110 rather than to £100, just because I think it'd just give a slightly better estimate here. So if we work out what these would be, now we just need to work these out. So 110 times 40, well, 4 times 110 will be 440. So 40 times 110 will be 4,400. So just multiplying the 110 by 4 and then multiplying it by 10 will be 4,400 plus. Now we've got 50 multiplied by 30. Well, 5 times 3 is equal to 15, and then add on our 2 zeros. So we've got 4,400 plus 1,500, and that's equal to 5,900. So my estimate for the total cost of 41 microwaves at £108 and 99p and 28 kettles at £50 and 49p would be £5,900. And just out of curiosity, I've worked out what the exact cost would be, and that would be equal to £5,882 and 31p. And as you can see, our estimate actually isn't far away from the actual value. So just to show you that that estimate is quite accurate. Okay, let's have a look at our next question, question number 7. So question number 7 says 40 children go on a trip to a fun fair. So 40 children go to a trip to a fun fair and 28 out of the 40 children decide to go on a roller coaster. What percentage of the children go on the roller coaster? So let's first of all write it as a fraction. 28 out of 40 of the children go on the roller coaster. So that would be 28 out of 40 as a fraction. Now we want to write that as a percentage, and it's a non-calculator question. So because we want it to be a percentage, we want it to be out of 100. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both the numerator and denominator by 4 to begin with. Because if I divide both of these numbers by 4, I would get 7 over 10. Because 28 divided by 4 is 7, and 40 divided by 4 is equal to 10. Now that's 7/10. Now we want to be out of 100, so now let's multiply both the numerator and denominator by 10, and that'll be 70 out of 100, and that's 70%. So what percentage of the children go on the roller coaster? That's 70% of them. And part B says it costs £4.25 for a ticket to go on the roller coaster. Estimate the total cost of 28 tickets. So if we want to work out the actual cost of 28 tickets, we would take our £4.25 and we would multiply that by 28. Now, because this is an estimation question, let's round these numbers. So it's approximately equal to. So instead of using £4.25, I'm going to use £4. That's just a bit nicer. And instead of using 28, I'm going to use 30 and just rounding that up. So 4 times 30, well 4 times 3 is 12, so 4 times 30 is equal to 120. So our estimate for the total cost of 28 tickets would be £120, and that's it. Okay, let's have a look at question number 8. So question number 8 says, estimate how many books costing £9.09 can be bought for £274. So perhaps someone's got £274, they want to buy as many books as they can, costing £9.09, and we need to estimate roughly how many that would be. So what we would do is, if we want to see how many books can be bought, we would take the amount of money, which is 274, and we would divide that by the cost of one book, which is £9.09. And that would tell us how many books can be bought. Now that may be a decimal number if they can't buy an exact number of books, and then we would have to round down because they wouldn't have enough money to buy the next book. But in this question, it's an estimation question, so let's round these numbers. So that's approximately equal to. Now what I'm noticing here is it's £9.09, so I think here it'd be fair to divide by 9 rather than £9.09. Now in terms of our £274, well 270 would be a multiple of 9 because 3 9s is 27, so 270 would be a multiple of 9. So I'm going to use 270 rather than 274. So I'm just rounding that to a nearby multiple of 9. So we've got 270 divided by 9. And if we do 270 divided by 9, and that'll be our estimate for the number of books that can be bought. So 27 divided by 9 is 3. So 270 divided by 9 will be equal to 30. So our estimate for the number of books costing £9.09 that can be bought for £274, our answer would be 30. And that's it. Okay, let's have a look at our next question, question number 9. So question number 9 says, in a theatre there's 39 rows, and in each row there's 32 seats, and each ticket costs £19.75. We've been asked to work out an estimate for the total income from ticket sales. So let's first of all find an estimate for how many seats there would be altogether. There's 39 rows, and in each row there's 32 seats. So that if we do 39 multiplied by 32, that'll tell us exactly how many seats it would be. But because it's an estimation question, let's round those. So that's approximately equal to 40 multiplied by 30. So just rounding 39 up to 40 and rounding 32 down to 30. So 40 multiplied by 30, well 4 times 3 is equal to 12, so that's going to be, adding our 2 zeros, 1,200. And the cost of each ticket is £19.75. But because it's an estimation question, what we're going to do is we're going to use £20. I'm going to round that to £20. And I'm going to take the number of seats, which is 1,200, and I'm going to multiply that by 20. And that'll be our estimate for the total income from ticket sales. Now 12 times 2 is equal to 24, and then add on our 3 zeros, that would be £24,000. So our estimate for the total income from ticket sales would be £24,000, and that's our estimate. And that's it. Okay, let's have a look at our next question, question number 10. Okay, let's have a look at our next question, question number 10. And question number 10 says, Harvey buys a car and he pays a deposit and then he makes 72 monthly payments of £139.44. So that is 6 years worth of monthly payments. So he pays a deposit and he pays for 6 years this amount of money each month. And we've been asked to estimate the total cost of the car. So if we want to work out the cost of the car, what we would do is we would take the deposit, the £4,975, and then we would add 72 payments off, and we do 72 multiplied by £139.44. So if we take the monthly payment, we multiply that by 72, that's the total amount that Harvey would pay in monthly payments, and then we would add on the deposit. Now we've been told to estimate this, so what we're going to do is let's round the numbers to some nicer numbers. So I think this would be, well, let's approximately equal to 5,000 plus, and instead of 72 I'm going to use 70, and then I'm going to multiply that by, now here we've got £139.44, and I don't think if we used 100 our estimate would be very accurate. And I don't think also we couldn't really round up to 200. So I think here the fairest thing to do would be to use £140. So we're going to round this down to 70 and we're going to round this up to 140. So to work out our estimate, we're going to do 5,000 plus 70 multiplied by 140. Let's do our brackets first. Let's find the total cost of the monthly payments. So let's do 7 times 14. Well, 7 times 12 would be equal to 84. Then 7 times 13 would be 91. So 7 times 14 would be equal to 98. That's 98, and then we're going to add our two zeros. So 70 multiplied by 140 would be 9,800. Now we've still got to add on our 5,000, so we need to do 5,000 plus the deposit plus the 9,800, which is roughly paid in the monthly payments. So 5,000 plus 9,800 would be, well, 5,000 plus 9,000 would be 14,800. So the answer is £14,800, and that's our estimate for the total cost of the car, and that's it. Okay, let's have a look at our next question, question number 11. So question number 11 says, Ricardo teaches 195 days each year. So Ricardo's a teacher and he teaches 195 days each year. And he estimates that he brings a packed lunch for 80% of the days that he works. So he brings a packed lunch for 80% of the days that he works. And he buys a school dinner on the other days. So that'd be the other days, so that'd be 20%, because if he brings a packed lunch for 80%, that means he buys school dinners for the remaining 20%. And a school dinner costs £4.15, and we've been asked to estimate how much money Ricardo spends on school dinners each year. So let's start off by looking at the number of days that he works. That's 195, and we need to work out 20% of that. Now what we're going to do is, instead of using 195, I'm going to say that Ricardo works 200 days. I'm just going to round that, and I'm going to work out 20% of 200 days. So to start off with, I'm going to work at 10%. So 10% of 200 days would be 20 days. So that means that 20% of 200 days would be equal to 40 days. So that would be 40 days. So our estimate for the number of school dinners that Ricardo would buy would be 40. And each school dinner costs £4.15. So if we do 40 multiplied by £4, which is our estimate, that's roughly equal to £4, just rounding down. That'd be roughly how much money Ricardo spends on school dinners each year. That's our estimate. So 4 times 4 is 16. So 40 times 4 would be £160. So our estimate for how much money Ricardo spends on school dinners each year would be £160. And that's it. Okay, let's look at our last question, question number 12. So question number 12 says, the prices to park in a car park are shown below. So if a car parks for up to 2 hours, they have to pay 90p. If they park between 2 hours and 4 hours, it costs £2 and 5 pence. And if they park in the car park for more than 4 hours, it costs £3.95. And over a weekend, 2,400 cars parked in the car park, 380 more cars parked in the car park for 2 to 4 hours than for more than 4 hours. Twice as many cars parked in the car park for up to 2 hours than for more than 4 hours, and we've been asked to work out an estimate for the total amount of money paid for parking over the weekend. Now, first of all, what would be quite useful is if we could work out how many cars parked in the car park for up to 2 hours, how many cars parked for between 2 and 4 hours, and how many cars in the car park parked for more than 4 hours. So let's look at this information that we're told. We know that in total there's 2,400 cars. And we're also told that 380 more cars parked for between 2 to 4 hours than for more than 4 hours, and twice as many cars parked for up to 2 hours than more than 4 hours. So I'm going to start off by looking at this more than 4 hours, because this more than 4 hours, we know that more cars, 380 more parked in the car park for 2 to 4 hours, and twice as many, so parked for up to 2 hours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this more than 4 hours be called X. That's the number of cars. I'm going to let the number of cars that parked in the car park for more than 4 hours be called X. Now, we're told that 380 more cars parked in the car park for 2 to 4 hours than for more than 4 hours. So that would be X plus 380, because it's 380 more than this number. And then we're told that twice as many cars parked in the car park for up to 2 hours than for more than 4 hours. So twice as many, so 2 times this number would be 2x. So now we've got algebraic expressions for the number of cars that parked for more than 4 hours, between 2 and 4 hours, and for up to 2 hours. And we know that these numbers will add together to be 2,400. So that's an equation we can form. So if we add these expressions up, we'd have 2x plus 380 plus x, and that would be equal to 2,400. And if we solve that equation, we'll be able to find out how many cars parked for all of these times. So let's do that. So 2x plus 380 plus x is equal to 2,400. Let's add our x's up to begin with. 2x plus x would be 4x. And then we've still got our plus 380. So that's just simplifying the left-hand side of this equation. And on the right-hand side, we've got that's equal to 2,400. Now we want to solve this equation, so let's take away 380 from both sides of the equation. And if we do that, we get that 4x is equal to, and 2,400 take away 380 would be 2,020. And now we want to find out what x is, so let's divide by 4 and divide by 4, and that's equal to, x is equal to, well, let's half it and half it again, so half of this number is 1,010, and half it again would be 505. So that means that x is equal to 505. So let's go back up. So that means that 505 cars parked for more than 4 hours, twice as many parked for up to 2 hours, that's going to be double of this number, would be 1,010. And finally, the number of cars that parked between 2 and 4 hours is 380 more than this number. And if we add 380 onto this number, we would have 885. So we now know how many cars parked for each of these amounts of time, and we know how much each of them was meant to pay. So if we wanted to work out the exact amount of money that was paid in parking, or should have been paid in parking, we would do 1,010 multiplied by 90p. We would do 885 multiplied by £2.05p, and we would do 505 multiplied by £3.95, and we get all those amounts of money and add them all up, and that would be our total amount of money that should be paid in parking over the weekend. Now this is an estimation question, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to round the amounts of money. So instead of 90p, I'm going to use £1. Instead of £2.5p, I'm going to use £2. And instead of £3.95, I'm going to use £4. So that's roughly how much money is paid for each amount of time. So £1 for up to 2 hours, £2 for between 2 and 4 hours, and roughly £4 for more than 4 hours. Now, in terms of working out our estimate, because these numbers are quite easy to deal with, £1, £2 and £4, we could do 1,010 multiplied by 1, 885 multiplied by 2, and 505 multiplied by 4, and add those all up, and that'll be our estimate for the total amount of money paid in parking over the weekend. Alternatively, we could even round these numbers to 1,000, 900 and 500. Now, I've actually designed this question that either way that you do that, you'll get the same answer. So if you do 1,010 multiplied by £1, 885 multiplied by £2, and 505 multiplied by £4, and add those all up, or if you do 1,000 multiplied by £1, 900 multiplied by £2, and 500 multiplied by £4, and add them all up, you'll get the same answer both ways. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use these values, the 1,010, the 885, and the 500, and I'm going to use these amounts of money and see what we get. So 1,010 multiplied by £1 is equal to 1,010. Then we had £885 multiplied by 2, and doubling £885 would be equal to, well, doubling 800 is 1,600. Doubling 80 is 160, so that's 1,760, and doubling 5 is 10, so it's going to be equal to 1,770. And finally, we had 505 cars for £4, so 505 cars multiplied by 4 is equal to, well, doubling that is 1,010, doubling again is £2,020. And if we add all of those up, we get 0. 1 plus 7 plus 2 is equal to 10, so put those down, carry 1. 7 plus 1 is equal to 8, and 1 plus 1 plus 2 is equal to 4. So that's equal to 4,800. And just to show that if you did round the amounts of people to 1,000 times 1, 900 times 2, and 500 times 4, we get, that's equal to £1,000, £1,800, and £2,000, and if we add those amounts of money up, we also get that's equal to 4,800. And that's it. And that's it. So these have been the video solutions to the practice questions based on money and estimation. I really hope you found this video useful, and if you have found it useful, please like it and please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you need any extra help on this topic, if you go to corbettmaths.com/contents and scroll down to video number 400R, then there's a video tutorial based on this topic. But again, I really hope you found this video useful. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.